friends. I'm here to spill the tea, if you will, on the nursing world and some of the unfair things that we have to deal with. Also, some of the unfair ways that patients are treated based on their criminal records. I think that it has to be said. I don't know what will happen to me for doing this, but I'm gonna do it, and I might be even more blackballed in the nursing world than I already am, but we're gonna have a tea spill, so let me grab my tea. It's just water, but here's the tea. That's what all the cool kids are doing. I'm way too old to be doing this shit, but anyway. So yeah, I'm pretty nervous about this because I've never done this before, but there's a lot of YouTubers that inspired me to talk about things that are important in the world, and this is important in the world because I don't know, like most of you, I'm just a spectator in this fucking shit show that is the world because, like, what the fuck for a lot of it, but I recently have noticed that, like, there's so much shit that's unfair and it makes me so upset. And if it was here's how I nurse, how I treat people. I treat every single patient like they are my family member, or how I would want my family member to be treated like a nurse would treat them. I know that doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. I treat every patient how I would expect a nurse to treat my family member, if that makes sense. Whether they're an inmate in a fucking jail or a prison, or they're a patient in a hospital bed, or a child in a trauma room. No. Sorry, I have cats and they're a little... They want to be in this video. So, with that being said, let's get started on some of the ridiculous things that I want to expose or spill the tea on. I think that this is going to get me in so much trouble, so much more trouble than I'm already in, and people are just going to look at me like even more of a piece of shit, but I feel like no one else is going to say it, and for all the nurses that are living this life of, oh my god, I have to be perfect all the time, and if I do anything wrong, I'm fucked and my license is gone. Like, that is such a shit way to live. It's such a shit way to live. And the rest of you can say whatever the fuck you want, but, like, I'm gonna tell you, it's a shit way to live. It sucks to live like that, to think that no matter what you do, whether you're at work or at home or whatever, your license could be taken away like that, and there's not shit that you can do about it. Like, that sucks. So, if you don't mind, friends, lend me your ears and let me know how you feel about what I'm about to tell you. Hopefully this doesn't get me in any more trouble than I'm already in, and I don't completely lose my nursing career. I already feel like I've completely lost it, but I still do have a job, and I have a really cool boss that isn't a total fucking asshole like the rest of the world. I want to expose some things and spill the tea here, because a lot of this shit patients will never know about. They have never known about, and no one's ever said shit about, so I'm gonna fucking tell the truth. And let me, like, be super duper clear here, because I don't want to get sued, even though I feel... Hi, Geppetto. There's Geppetto. He likes to eat flowers. He's weird. This is not for every hospital. This is not for every nurse. This is not for every facility. This is just things that I've experienced as I've worked as a nurse since 2011. Longer than that, because I was a CNA in 2007. So, since 2007, I've been in the medical field, and this goes for everybody, not just nurses, medical assistants, doctors, whoever. that experience things like this, but also my main fact here is that we are held to this ridiculous standard. And then I'm also going to expose some things that I think you should know about how fucking patients are treated behind the scenes. But yeah, it's not every facility. Oh, there's Lily. It's not every facility, it's not every nurse, it's not every doctor. I'm not going to say names of facilities, I'm not going to say names of jails or prisons or hospitals. I'm not going to do that. But at the end of the day, I would like you to know I love my job and I take it very, very seriously. I love taking care of patients, and the fact that that could be taken away from me off of a he said, she said, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, and the fact that everything is so public is just really upsetting to me. And I really just wanted to let people know, like, how would you feel if everything that you did was public? So I'm not talking about your criminal record. I'm talking about, like, every time you ever got written up, or a verbal warning, or you got fired from a job when you were like 15. If somebody could, like, enter your first and last name in a database and see every single thing, and it could be a he said, she said, and we all know that HR really tries to do their job and really tries to make things fair, but sometimes they do pick sides and they don't know the whole story, and we feel really attacked and we feel like things aren't fair. So think about that, and think about if all of that was public knowledge and that's how people judged you. Because for nurses, that's a fact. Like, that happens. That can be really real. They can put that on your permanent record, and you can be screwed really forever, because once it's there, there's nothing you can do. And in other jobs, that's just, you are entitled to a sense of privacy when you're, when you apply and you interview and things like that. You're entitled to a sense of privacy, and unfortunately with nurses, that's just not the same. So here's the thing. I really wanted to touch on, sorry, my hair is like irritating the crap out of me. I really wanted to touch on, no, I don't want to like sit here and like, oh, woe is me, everybody's so hard on nurses. That's not it. I just want it to be equal for our careers, just like it is for everybody else's. Everybody else has a sense of privacy when you apply for a job, or, you have a right to dispute things. But once something happens in the nursing world and maybe you make a very small mistake, you are donezo. No one is going to give you your money back that you spent on school, and they literally make you feel like you're a criminal. So I took it upon myself to find a quote that I thought was appropriate for everyone else that is in this situation, because a lot of people won't speak about it. It's a taboo, like, you're a fucking piece of shit and you're a criminal and you're a terrible person and how dare you make a fucking mistake. Well, like, my mistake, and that's a story again for a different day, was regarding Tylenol. You're talking about fucking Tylenol. That, first of all, I wasn't even in the state when said incident happened, but stupidly, I signed a piece of paper because I needed to keep working, and I was told that was the only way that I was going to be able to keep working, was to sign this piece of paper. And I wish I never would have. I really, really do. So read what you're signing, know what you're signing, but also, like, why are we the people, like, even fucking police officers, they don't get treated like criminals. They get a chance. Everybody gets, like, a second chance. Like, you fuck up and, they hire felons after they come out of prison, but no, not with nurses. And that's the same thing with like nurses if they get caught with a drug problem. Now, like if you get caught with a drug problem at a different job, you're allowed to take a leave of absence to go to rehab and like get yourself better. If you're a nurse and you get caught with a drug problem, you lose your license. So you can go to rehab, but then like after that, you're fucked, bro. Your license gets hit with a ding that you had a drug problem. Hold on, let's take a sip of tea. So everyone will know that you're a recovered addict. Everyone that hires you will know. How would you feel about that? If you are a recovered addict and you're watching this, how would you feel if every single person that was gonna hire you knew that you were a recovered addict and knew what you fucking used? Like, that sucks. That really sucks. We have no privacy, and they can take your license away for that. They can, even if you weren't using drugs on the job or diverting medication, if you say, hey, I'm a drug addict and I need help and I'm gonna go get help, they can take your license for that, which is just fucking insane to me. Like, I don't know who these people are that made these rules, but they are clearly people that have never done anything wrong in their life, that have never made a mistake. They're not humans, I guess. And my thing is like, I've worked with underprivileged patients for my entire career almost, with drug addicts and felons and inmates. And I've been ridiculed for being nice to them because God forbid you treat them like people. Don't treat them like people. They're not people. Inmates aren't people. Oh my God. Fuck you guys. They are people. Anybody can make a mistake. Even a police officer could accidentally get a DUI and end up in that drunk tank. And then, you know, you better hope that your nurse is nice to you, because that's the only person throughout the day that's going to tell you good morning or tell you how's it going. Not because it's inappropriate, because they're a fucking person. They're just a person. Like, why do you have to make it such a big fucking deal? They're a person. So all of this started basically because I was nice to inmates, because I was a nurse working at a jail, and that was really, like, looked down upon. Like, you can't be nice to the inmates, you can't tell them good morning. I had a couple officers tell me a few times when I would say, good morning, can you tell me your first and last name? Because that is protocol to ask them their first and last name. I had an officer straight tell me, don't fucking talk to them. They're a number. Okay. Like, I don't know who died and made you in charge, but I'm pretty sure that, like, I was trained in a certain way, and, like, they're not just a number. That's still somebody's family. That's still somebody's brother, sister, fucking husband, wife. Like, fuck you. If that was my sibling or my relative or my spouse, and I knew that they were in jail being treated like a number, like, it makes me sick. And so I can't work in the correctional industry. I'm not going to say what jail it was. I'm not going to say what prison I worked for. I am going to say that I wish I never did, because it was a terrible experience. Some of the officers were really nice, and really did care about the inmates. I'm not going to say that all of them were like that. Some of them were really cool, and they really did, you know, like, treat them like people. But unfortunately, the vast majority of them, they think it's funny, and they encourage you to treat them like trash. And it sucks, because, like, I know, I'm not gonna lie, I know people that are fucking felons. I know people that have been arrested. That doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't make them a bad person. People get better. People do things in life that they're ashamed of, and then, you know, they turn their life around. And isn't that what it's about? Like, you're supposed to do better after you do something bad, but then you're still fucking treated like a criminal forever, because God forbid you do something bad. You're a fucking criminal. So anyway, I picked a quote. I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I think this is gonna be so bad. Like, I already feel like I'm in so much trouble and I've had the worst fucking week of my life, like literally the worst week. And I just feel like if everybody knew how much stress we are under to be perfect all the time, and this fucking stupid standard that we live up to, I don't think it's fair. I really don't. And I really am not like, woe is me. I really want people to understand, like, what we have to go through on a daily basis. If you get a ticket, a traffic ticket, I'm talking just a traffic ticket that's over $500, you have to report it to the nursing board and you could face action on your license. That has nothing to do with how you work. That has, like, are you fucking serious? Anyways, I decided to pick, after, now that I've gone and, like, my rant here, my cats are insane. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. That's from Dr. Seuss. So I've decided that I'm going to speak for the C's, the criminals of the fucking nursing world, because that's what you are the minute that you get, like, even a teeny tiny, like, don't do that again on your license. Here's my mistake. I'm going to tell you exactly what my mistake was. I signed something I didn't read. And I wasn't even in the state for the offense. And it literally is ruining my life and will continue to ruin my life if I let it. And I don't want anyone else to fall under this same fucking tragedy, to listen to what somebody else says and be like, oh, okay, it'll be fine if I just sign this, and like be so worried. I've shed so many tears over this, and I have locked myself in my room and cried, and I mean, it's been a week, dude. It's been a week. I was specifically told by a very upscale hospital, keep in mind, my license is not restricted. I'm not on probation. There's nothing wrong with my license. Nothing at all. I can practice just like anybody that doesn't have anything on their license. But I was told by an upscale hospital that we can't have people like that working for us. Like that. And I found myself wondering if that's what the inmates that I used to take care of felt like all the time. Because I'm someone like that. They don't look at how you are as a nurse or how your work ethic. Because keep in mind, I have hundreds of patients and other nurses that will give me an amazing reference, because at the end of the day, one thing that I can say about myself that I'm extremely fucking confident about, I'm a kick-ass nurse. I'm a really, really good fucking nurse, and I really care about my patients. And this whole thing is fucking ridiculous, and I don't want another person to ever have to feel the way that I feel for no fucking reason. Some people are perfect, and some people can't, you know, they don't have anything wrong, and they've never been fired, and they've never been written up, and they've never had any issues in their life. So, like, they're cool with it. Like, if their permanent record had to be public, they'd be okay with it. They would be totally, totally fine. I'm not perfect. I'm never gonna be perfect. I'm that tattooed nurse that walks into your room and people are like, holy shit. But once they talk to me for 5 seconds and they realize that I'm there to take care of them, they realize that I really do care about my patients and I take my job seriously. I've overcome so much to be a nurse that I feel like this week really just kicked me hard, and I really don't want anyone else to get discouraged like I did the past couple days, because, you know, if I can make it and still have a job and still try to just be positive like anybody can. I have a hearing issue, which is super embarrassing all the time. Like, I hate fucking talking about it, but I wear hearing aids and I have to tell people that, and it sucks to tell patients, like, hey, I'm hard of hearing, so just so you know, like, I may not be able to hear you. So that happens, and I still was able to do an amazing job and still am able to do an amazing job, and I can relate to my patients on a different level because when they're hard of hearing, like, we'll just make jokes about it. Like, unfortunately, a lot of large hospitals that you run into as a nurse with a hearing disability don't give a fuck. They don't. And I've even had nurses, other nurses, like charge nurses, sit in a room with me and know that I have a hearing issue, and like, I can take a joke, man, I don't give a fuck, but like, don't just be a bully, because I hate bullies. I fucking hate bullies. And I'm the type of person that will cry. I'm not gonna sit there and like just get in a fight with you over it, because like, we're adults, and if you hurt my feelings, then you hurt my feelings, because I'm an adult and I have feelings, and I'd rather just be like, you hurt my feelings. So like, recently, right before all this happened, I was sitting in a room with a bunch of nurses, and the charge nurse was making fun of another nurse because she wasn't listening to her, and she's like, what are you, fucking stupid? You have a hearing problem? Are you hearing impaired? And the other nurse was like, yeah, I guess so. And she goes, oh, well, I didn't know you were fucking special. And everybody started laughing. And like, as much as you should just like let that go and like, haha, it doesn't matter, like, don't be a bitch, don't be a pussy, like, fuck you guys. You're a bunch of fucking assholes. You're full-grown women that are bullies. And like, and then for me to go through all the other shit that I had to go through with this big, prestigious, amazing hospital, y'all can suck a dick. You can. Like, I was so proud to work there and to be like this amazing nurse that worked at this prestigious fucking place. And I'm sorry, I'm like, that's just how I talk when I'm not at work. I grew up around a bunch of tow truck drivers, so yeah, I'm not gonna fucking pretend that that's not who I am. I still feel like this is gonna get me in so much trouble. They bullied me, they pressured me, they intimidated me, and it all started over something so stupid. And I really just want to bring to light the fact that nurses, I don't feel, are treated fairly. I don't think that it's fair that when we clock out of work, we still have to act like we're these prestigious, amazing people, and God forbid you do something wrong when you're not at work, they'll take your license away. They'll take it. And like, that's so wrong to me. It's just so wrong. We work so hard under so much stress, and it's already so fucking difficult. And a lot of us don't do it for the money. I'll tell you this a million times till I die. You're never going to get paid enough to be a nurse. You're never going to get paid enough to go to the floor with a patient's family member after you tell them that they didn't make it. To have to let a parent know that their child didn't make it, and to take them into the cold room or the viewing room and just let them sit with their child's body, you know? There's no fucking amount of money in the world that will do that, but there's also no amount of money in the world that can pay you for saving a child's life, for them coming back after you totally thought that it was over, for you being part of that team that brings them back, and letting the parents know that their kid is going to be okay, and that you don't have to go have their parents view them in a cold room. There's no amount of money in the world that can do that, that can give you that sense of accomplishment that you helped save somebody's life. And so that part, I want to make really clear that we do so much, and that we're there for the really shitty parts where sometimes people don't come back and we have to tell family members horrible things, and be with them and walk them through that terrible time. And it never gets easier. I don't care how many people you do it with, it's not an easy thing to do. And then there are so many amazing times where you get to tell somebody that despite the odds, their family member fucking made it. And they're gonna be okay. So that part of nursing, you're never gonna get paid enough money for any of it. You're just never gonna get paid enough money for any of it. Another thing that I take really seriously at my previous job, you know, we don't take into account a lot that people just don't have someone to talk to. Like those inmates, they don't see anybody except the guards and their fellow inmates, and just seeing someone else, not even to be, again, not to be inappropriate, just to say hi, or like a fresh face, just to listen to something. Like, why do you have to be so fucking lame to take that away from them? I just don't understand why you have to be so terrible to take away the fact that they're a human. That's what you're doing. You're trying to take away the fact that they're a human, and that is horrible. I've had patients that are elderly that have lost their spouse, and that's their whole world, and just taking a minute to sit with them and talk to them, that's their big outing for the week. They're not going to get to do anything else. So to just take 10 minutes and listen to them talk about the fact that they saw their grandchild or their great-grandchild and how exciting it was to them, like, that's so cool. To be the person that they trust with that. Like, you don't even understand. And you're never gonna get paid enough money for that. So the fact that they treat us that we're a dime a dozen and like, oh well, bye, fuck you, that sucks. And again, I'm pretty sure that all of this started because I was nice to inmates and I treated them like people. Well, what I have to say to that at the end of all of this, because I have no idea what's going to happen, I really don't. Everybody's a person, and coming from somebody that worked in an acute care setting, in an emergency setting, all lives in that situation matter. We don't look at anything, you know, everybody gets saved, no matter what. It's a 45-year-old male with 6 gunshot wounds is a 45-year-old male with 6 gunshot wounds. We don't look at anything else. It doesn't matter whether they're the person that shot somebody or they're the person that just got shot. It doesn't fucking matter. Whether they come in there and they're handcuffed to the gurney, we're going to treat them the same way that we're going to treat anybody else. We want them to live. They are to be saved. They still matter to somebody. And sorry, hold on. Wednesday. I get it. You want to be in the video. And I would hope that somebody would treat my family member the same way. And the fact that nurses, or this nurse in general, got backlash for treating inmates like people, I'm not sorry. I'm still not sorry. And if I had to work at a jail again, I would still treat them like people because they are people. And the main fact here is that nurses are held to this pristine, ridiculous standard that they have to be perfect. Well, I'm not perfect. I don't have perfect hair. I don't have perfect nails. I don't even have a perfect fucking background. I don't have perfect anything, dude. If you look up my background, I'm not fucking perfect. I'm not a criminal. I don't have perfect anything, and I do know people that have rehabilitated themselves, and the fact that everybody is just so like, who the fuck are you to judge people? You're talking about, you know, there's politicians that have criminal records, and there's police officers that have criminal records. There's so many people. There's movie stars that have criminal records, and you still love them to death. And they are not held to the same standard that we are, and we have to be perfect at work and not at work. And, you know, this is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And these nurses that are like in school, they prioritize. You have to hold your license. Like, you can't ever get in trouble, because if you get in trouble and your nursing license gets a ding or it gets taken away, your life is over. And that's true. It is. It's true. Your life is like pretty much over. Sorry, I needed some tea. But it's not fair. And the reality of it is you can have something happen to your nursing license that isn't a direct issue to patients. You can have something happen to your nursing license that's a he said, she said. You can have something happen to your nursing license that is, oh, well, she was nice to inmates, we're just going to say this about her because we don't think that she should have been nice to inmates. Fuck that girl. And, you know, you can be in a moment where you need to continue to work and you sign a piece of paper that you didn't read, and you're fucked for life, dude. Like, you're fucked, and it feels really terrible, and you feel trapped. And I don't want anybody else to end up in my situation because they didn't know. And it's okay. Shit happens, man. Shit fucking happens, and not everybody's perfect. You know, this would be like the same thing as getting a speeding ticket, but that's how they're gonna judge you is, you know, what if you weren't speeding and that cop went to court and was like, she was speeding, but it was a cop, so they took their fucking word against yours. That's where we're at here, and I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that nurses are treated fairly in that aspect. I think that they're already under so much stress. I don't think that people that are not in the nursing world, that they have a right to really criticize how nurses do their job. If you would love to know how nurses do their job, I invite you to go to school or to follow a nurse around for a shift. Just follow her around for one fucking shift. You'll lose your mind if you're not in the field. You're gonna be like, how the fuck do they do this? They're superheroes. Not to mention the emotional shit that we deal with. Families having to hear that their family member didn't make it, making it through and letting family members know, dealing with children that get abused and having to deal with that and having to deal with having them removed. And like, you don't even have any fucking idea the things that we have to deal with on a daily basis, and then to be able to do something like this because we want to treat everybody like a person, like, that's how I feel. Everybody is a person, and all lives do matter. And for everybody that wants to talk shit about it, like, coming from one of the people that used to be on the front lines, all lives matter. Inmates, felons, children, it doesn't matter who it is, they're your patient and you treat them all the same. And I ended up in this situation because people don't feel like that should be the norm. And I mean, when people look at me, they think criminal, tattooed, you know, whatever. Tattoos are a thing now, and in a lot of places they're acceptable. Even in prestigious hospitals, you're allowed to have tattoos. So like I said, I want to speak for the C's, for the criminals. They're people. They're people and they matter. And just because they're behind closed doors in a jail or a prison, that doesn't mean that you should treat them poorly or laugh with the police officers like, ha ha ha, oh my god, we're going to treat them like trash. Like, fuck you guys. Anybody can get arrested. That nurse could get arrested that's treating them like shit. I know this went on a rant, and I just want everybody to, like, kind of know, because I feel like I'm this is just gonna make my life so much worse. I just want everybody to really understand that in the nursing world, all lives matter, all of them. And if somebody really just wants to do their job and take care of people, because that's why we get in this field. We get in this field because we care about people and we want to take care of people. Or we take an oath to treat every patient the fucking same and to take care of everyone. And then when you do that, even though that's what you're supposed to do, you get looked down upon, and then you get a black mark on your license because God forbid you fucking take care of an inmate like a person, because they're not a person, they're a number. And that's a story for a different day, depending on how this video goes. Like, I have no problem telling the truth and exposing and spilling the tea, because I feel like if I don't say it, who the fuck is going to? And why should nurses have to live under this stress and be this stressed out and hold this burden when, like, nobody else does? And maybe this just needs to be changed. Maybe someone just needs to say something. So I might be nobody to everybody, but, like, I'm saying something. I'm saying something because I guess nobody else will, and a lot of people that end up in my situation are too embarrassed, or it's so taboo, like nobody should know that something happened to them, and that, you know, they ended up on the board's radar. Well, you know what, motherfuckers? I ended up on the board's radar. I'm still a good person. I don't do anything wrong. Like, I just want to do my job and take care of people. And I enjoy taking care of people. I still enjoy taking care of people. It's my passion in life. Being a nurse is not just my title. It's part of who I am. And to almost have that taken away because I treated people like people, and it makes me sad that I'm sure they're all getting treated like numbers because no one will ever speak up for them. And it's not just in one facility. That's the scary part here. It's not just one place. Like, I worked at every jail in multiple prisons. It's terrible. It's just terrible. So, I guess my point for all of this is, now that I've gone off on another tangent, I just really wanted people to understand the stress that nurses live under and how certain patients are treated. And I don't want to waste too much time, but, like, maybe one day that's, like, a story for another day, to go into detail about different places and, like, different things that people do without, like, breaking HIPAA. But I wish that people were treated like people and not like a number or a paycheck, because that's not why we went into this field. And if it is why you went into this field, I don't want you to be my fucking nurse. I just don't. Like, where did we end up that so easy to lose your license and everybody's so judged, and people just aren't treated like people anymore. They're treated like a number, and that's just fucked up.